Okay, so we're in section 13.7, writing equations in slope-intercept form. Writing equations in slope-intercept form. So the whole goal is to get back to the y equals mx plus b format, all right, and to use a point on the line and an ordered pair, or maybe even two ordered pairs, to get the equation in slope-intercept form. Well, in this section, we're going to need the help of another formula, and that is point-slope form. So what I just highlighted, you need to write down. You don't have to write down anything else, but point-slope form says y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Point-slope form. And this formula is helpful when the y-intercept is not obvious to us. When we can't see by the ordered pairs or by the graph where the y-intercept is, we can use point-slope form. So we're going to use that formula now to write an equation in point-slope form of the line that passes through the point -6, 1 with a slope of 2/3. So now I don't have two ordered pairs, and I actually don't need two ordered pairs. I already know what the slope is. It just comes out and tells me what the slope is. What's the slope, guys? 2/3. So I already have the majority of the equation written. Y equals 2/3 x. Okay? What I don't know is the y-intercept. And that's where I can use, here's where they kind of get the word from, point. I can use point and slope, okay, to then write the equation in slope-intercept form. And what was my formula again? Can you guys say it with me? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, and now I'm just going to plug in these values where they go in the formula. Okay, according to the ordered pair, the first number is my x1 value, and the second number is my y1 value. Okay, so the y is a part of the formula minus the y1 value from the ordered pair. Y minus 1 equals, what was my m? 2/3 times x, and what was my x1 value? Minus x1. Well, what do you see here? Double negative, so you need to catch that and change that to a positive. So now it's x plus 6. And now we can go about we actually have written now the equation in point-slope form, but we're not done yet because this equation is not in slope-intercept form. Would you agree? We still have a little bit of work to do. All right? And remember, we're doing all of this work because we were not given the information we needed in the problem to know what our y-intercept was. So now we have y minus 1 equals, and now I'm going to distribute 2/3 times x and 2/3 times 6. All right, well, what's 2/3 times x? 2/3 x. Okay, and you might need to work this off to the side. 2/3 times 6 over 1 equals 12 over 3, which is what? 4. So plus 4. All right, we're almost done. We're almost there, but it's still not fully in slope-intercept form. Does anybody know? Can anybody raise your hand and tell me what's one more step that I'm going to need to do to get it all the way into slope-intercept form? Elijah?
Plus 1.
Plus 1 to both sides. And where would I add the 1? Would I add it underneath the x, or would I add it underneath the 4? Underneath the 4, right? Because those are numbers. So y equals, hey, here's that 2/3 x that I started to write at the beginning, right? Okay, so I'm kind of where I was at the beginning, but now because I used point-slope form, now I also know what my y-intercept is. It's 5. The information in the original problem didn't give me that. It didn't say 0, 5 was the other ordered pair. So I had to use point slope form to find that y-intercept. Okay, and now I have my equation. So do you see the similarities between today's lesson and yesterday's lesson? The only difference is in today's lesson, the original information does not tell you the y-intercept. So that's why you use point slope. Okay? Got it? Understand? Does anybody have a question? Anything? Okay. All right, so I want you to do one. There's your ordered pair, and it also tells you what the slope is. So I want you to plug in these numbers into your formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? And it's exactly what the title of the slide is saying. Think to yourself, solve the problem, pair it together with a neighbor, share your answers, and see if they match up. All right, and I'll be walking around to help you guys. We have y minus what? 2 equals negative 4. M is negative 4. I've seen, I noticed on a few people's papers, they put the x right here. That's not your m. Your m is only the number times x minus x1, which is 1. Okay? So now what do I do? Now what do I do, guys? Distribute. So leave the y minus 2, and then I have negative 4x. What's negative 4 times negative 1? Positive 4. Okay? Now I just have one more step to get it in slope-intercept form, and what is it? Add 2 to both sides. Add 2. Okay? Y equals negative 4x plus 6. All right, and a lot of you got that right, so that's great. That's a good job. Any questions, or if you messed up, do you see where you went wrong? Okay. All right, very good. So in example 2 now, in example 2, I have a different set of information here. So yesterday when we learned 13.6, we had a table that looked just like this, except the table had an x value of 0 in it, so you could just look at the table to know your y-intercept. All right, well, we're still going to use, now we don't even know the slope. It doesn't even tell me the slope, but can I use the ordered pairs to find my slope? Yeah, I can pull out my ordered pairs, negative 1, 10, and 2, 4. Are those the only 2 ordered pairs I could use? No. Could I use 2, 4, and 5, negative 2? Absolutely. Okay, and it does not matter. I'm just going to use the first 2. Negative 1, 10, and I strongly encourage you to write them down side by side. It's so much easier to determine the sequence. Okay, now I need to use those ordered pairs to find the slope. Go ahead and do that. Say the formula together. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 4 minus 10 over 2 minus negative 1. Okay, well, what's that double negative? A positive. What's 4 minus 10? Negative 6 over 3, which is negative 2. Okay, so there's my slope. That's great. Because since I don't have any ordered pairs that tell me the y-intercept, I now have to use point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, which I just solved for, times x minus x1. All right, so I have my m value of negative 2. And now I need an ordered pair. Here's what my rule says. I can use any one of these 3 ordered pairs. It does not matter which ordered pair you choose. Okay? Because I'm a person of order, I'm going to choose the first one because I just like choosing the first one. Okay? Can you choose the second one? Absolutely. Okay? Choose any point from the set. Does that make sense? Choose any point you want, and that's going to be your x1 and your y1. All right? So negative 110 is my point that I'm using for point slope. All right? So here we go. y minus, what's my y1 value from that ordered pair? 10 equals m, which I just solved for m. What was my m? -2. So guys, you have to do slope first. You have to solve for slope first so you know what to plug in. -2 times x, and then what's your x1? Minus -1. All right, what happens to your double negative? Okay, make sure you do that first. All right, and now this should look pretty familiar to us, right? We're kind of on the home stretch now. Y minus 10 equals -2x. Is it +2 or -2? What do you think? -2 times 1. Minus. -2 times +1, guys, is -2. All right, one more step. What's my last step, Michaela? What would be my last step? Adding 10. Add 10 and add 10. Okay, and now I'm ready to write my final equation. Y equals -2x plus 8. -2x plus 8, and I am all done. -2x plus 8. All right, any questions? So find slope, use your ordered pairs to find slope, and then once you know the slope, plug it into point slope form. Doesn't matter which ordered pair you choose from the table. No, use any of them, plug it in, and then you can find your formula. Why did I have to do all of this? Why couldn't I have just known what my y-intercept was?
Because there wasn't one that was with the 0.
Yeah, there's no information in the original problem that tells me. So that's the determining factor. If I give you a table that has a 0 for x in it, the other number is your y-intercept. Now, you could still do point slope form, but that's a waste of time, right? Because you can just see what it is. But when the information does not give it to you, that's where point slope is necessary. All right, we're almost done. Okay, you finished parasailing and are being pulled back behind a boat. Has anybody ever been parasailing?
My dad has.
Yeah. Okay, so it's actually pretty fun. I've done it once. Okay, after 2 seconds, you are 25 feet above the boat. At what height were you parasailing? Okay, well, there's some information over in the picture that is very important to solving this. Okay? Okay, so you finish parasailing and you're being pulled back to the boat. After 2 seconds of being reeled in, you are now 25 feet above the boat. At what height were you parasailing? You technically could probably do this without really showing much work. Okay.
Like 45 feet.
Right? So, yes, so you need to figure out how many feet did you drop in 2 seconds?
20.
Okay, 10 feet per second, so 10 times 2 is 20 feet. And then you would add that to the remaining feet, and you started at a height of 45 feet.
Oh no. Parasailing at 45 feet.
Oh, that's nothing. You're high. You're pretty high up in the... Oh, yeah, I know. You probably can't see much at 45 feet, actually. You're usually a lot higher. So really, guys, it's just a matter of kind of applying that rate concept. Again, you know, at a rate, well, you can use the rate to figure out a total and then apply it to whatever you're being asked to solve for. All right, if you understand that, we're done with chapter 13.